Hi everyone, welcome to Certificate 3 with Miss King. We're looking at physical conditioning today and all of the information that you need to complete Assessment 1. First thing we're going to look at is the muscular system. So as depicted in the image on the right, the muscular system is an organ system that consists of skeletal, smooth and cardiac muscles. So all of these muscles allow you to be able to maintain your posture, permit movement and hold yourself upright. Each muscle has an origin point and an insertion point. So in the image we have your quadricep muscle. So you can see that the origin point is up in the pelvis. So that's the place or the part of the muscle that does not move during the contraction. Down the bottom here, you can see this is where the muscle is inserted, which is down near your tibia and your patella. So that's the point where the muscle does contract during a contraction. You can see that when you pull up your knees. So if you're standing in the mirror and you engage your quadricep muscle, you'll actually see that that's where it changes shape, which is where it contracts. This image is a picture of your hamstring origin and insertion. So in your assessment booklet, you either need to draw this diagram yourself or you need to just identify on the diagram in the booklet where the origin and insertion points of your hamstring muscle are. So as we said in this slide here, the insertion point is further away from the body, whereas the origin is going to be closer to the body. So if we're back looking at the hamstring, the origin is up near the pelvis, and again the insertion is down near the kneecap. Moving in and talking about aerobic fitness can be called cardiovascular fitness. So it's the way we work out your body's ability to take oxygen from the atmosphere and help to make energy for your muscles to be able to operate. Any exercises that are considered to be aerobic have been designed to make your heart and lungs work, and that then improves your body's ability to use the oxygen that's actually drawn in when you take breaths. So some examples are listed down here, include jogging, rowing, swimming and cycling. Anaerobic fitness is not as it sounds. It's not the opposite to aerobic fitness. It's a different way of developing fitness. So anaerobic fitness are like teasing exercises, I guess. So they're short, intense bursts of physical exercise where the amount of oxygen that your body requires actually is more than what your body can get in. So these little exercises can last for seconds, up to a few, like 2 minutes maximum, because at about 2 minutes, that's when your aerobic fitness will kick in and your body will start to naturally use the amount of oxygen that's coming in and out. So to develop your anaerobic fitness, your muscles are actually fueled by energy which is already stored in the muscles, and that's called that process is called glycolysis. These exercises use our fast twitch muscle fibers, and examples are weightlifting in small bursts, 30-second sprints, jumping for anywhere between 30 seconds and 2 minutes, and something like burpees that you do maybe 20 reps of. Cardiovascular fitness, as we said, is quite similar to aerobic fitness. So I've got an image here that just shows you the different organs that make up the cardio system. Cardio fitness is defined as the ability of the heart, blood cells and lungs to supply that real oxygen-rich blood to the working muscle tissues. So, you can see in this diagram, the aorta and the heart and the veins are all part of that system. To measure your cardio fitness, it's There are a few different ways that you can do it. So technology is pretty amazing nowadays, and your VO2 max levels can be measured by using a Fitbit or a Garmin. So that the way it does it is it measures the capacity of the heart, lungs, and blood to transport oxygen to the working muscles, and then measures how much oxygen is actually utilised during that exercise. That will give you then your VO2 max levels. If you don't have access to a Fitbit or a Garmin though, and that technology, you can still go old school and try doing something like the beep test, which is over depicted on the right here. There's a question that you need to answer about dance being aerobic or anaerobic. I'm going to tell you quite openly and honestly straight out that you have to have a bit of both. So you need to, sustained dancers need to have really good aerobic fitness. And as you do a class, because you're dancing for more than 2 minutes, it is an aerobic type of exercise. However, you need to be both training in anaerobic fitness and anaerobic fitness. And we continue into that here. So you need to make sure that when you're training for dance, that you are continuing to make sure that you're lean and strong. And this article gives you a really, really good understanding of how you can train your body aerobically and anaerobically to make sure that you're getting the best out of your body for dance. It tells you that you should be doing 2 days of cardio fitness and 2 days of weightlifting or weight training, and then some cross training as well. So talking of cross training is where you're using different modes of exercise to train different fitnesses, and it can be done in the one stint or across different days. So that's sort of talked about here. So each day you could change your activity. So you might do a run one day, then do a stair climb another, and then go for a bike ride the next. Or you could go to the gym and actually alternate those activities within that single workout. So you might hop on the rowing machine and do 10 minutes to warm up, and then you do 15 minutes on the cross trainer machine, and then do a 5-minute stair climb machine, and then finish with 10 minutes on the bike. There's massive benefits to cross training, and why it's become so popular is because there's less risk of injury because you're just not sustaining that activity for as long. For people who are a bit overweight, they actually find a really practical and good way to lose weight. And then just in general, because you're working on different exercises, that does mean that you're improving your overall whole body fitness. Getting into and talking about exercises, we always know that with exercise, with dance, there comes injury, and hip flexors are one of the most common injuries or tight areas for dance students and dancers professionally. There are lots of different exercises that can be really good to strengthen hip flexors and stretch them out. They include swimming, lunges when they're done correctly, and the bridge position that we see in yoga. Some exercises to avoid. Cycling's a big one. It really crunches that hip flexor, and downward dog in yoga again is crunching that hip flexor tendon. And the other one that can be beneficial and bad at the same time is squats. So doing squats, if you're doing them correctly, they can benefit and strengthen your hip flexor. However, if you're doing them incorrectly, they can actually make it a whole lot worse. So if you're looking at getting some support to do with your dance fitness and science, you could go locally and go to some physios that work in Adelaide. So Body Centric is in the Adelaide CBD, and Jenny Guest is an amazing physiotherapist that you can access in Adelaide for some advice. Nationally, there's a few physios around in New South Wales who specialise in dance and dance science. And then there's physios within the Australian Ballet who I'm sure would give some advice if you were to send them an email. And then globally, there's a group called the International Association for Dance Medicine and Science. They have a student branch and a teacher branch and a professional dancer branch, so you can get information from everywhere. Looking at fitness and looking at health for dancers, it's really important that we acknowledge that you have a BMR. So your BMR is how many kilojoules you need to consume within a day if you were to do nothing. So you're staying in bed and you're doing nothing. When you calculate them, there's a bit of a clause here that it's really important that your calculations, when you do them, don't take into account how lean or how big you are. So very muscular people will probably receive a figure that underestimates how many calories they need, and people who are overweight will probably get something that overestimates. This is how you calculate it. So most of you're going your BMR plus 10 times your weight plus 6.5 times your height minus 5 times your age in years. For men, you add 5, and for women, you minus 161. Then if you want to work out how many, that's your BMR. So that's to calculate if you were lying in bed, did nothing all day, that's how many calories you would need to consume to stay healthy. However, if you want to calculate your activity, you take your BMR. So most of you would say that you could be anywhere between moderately and super active. So you're taking, let's go with very active person, you're taking your BMR and timesing it by 1.725. As a dancer, your energy is mostly going to be made out of carbohydrates, so anywhere between 55 and 60%. Proteins make up 12 to 15% of your diet, and fats, healthy fats, are going to be between 20 and 30%. Carbohydrates, definitely your major energy source for your muscles. So when you're training and rehearsing for like a production, you could actually up your carbohydrate increase to about 65% of your diet. So to get ready for a performance, it's really important that you have a plan, that you're prepared, that you eat really well the night before, that you start your performance day with a healthy breakfast. Know your body and know what it needs. Know what makes it work. Know what makes it feel yuck. Know what makes it feel good. You need to eat your food slowly and be mindful when you're eating. Try to limit foods that are high in fat and high in fiber, as they make you feel bloated and sick. Need to make sure that you drink lots of water and keep hydrated. And if you forget to bring food to your performance, just be careful what you buy out in the foyer or just at the shops that's quick and easy, because that can be an unhealthy option. And you need to make sure that you get plenty of rest the night before your show. Best foods before a performance are going to be some complex carbohydrates along with lean protein. Lots of foods that are really high in good nutrients and nothing that's too high in sugar or fat. Make sure that you don't skip breakfast and try and eat foods that are high in carbohydrate. Make sure you drink some fluids, and then making healthy snack choices like bananas or capsicum with hummus or some nuts and dried fruit. This slide is a little bit wordy, but you can have a look. It's often said that food and organs go really well together. So people say that like an apple a day will keep the doctor away, those sorts of silly things. So carrots are said to be really good for your eyesight, and it's true. It's because they're high in vitamin A. Walnuts are really good for brain health. Boron in celery will help your vitamin A levels. Kidney beans are a really good source of potassium and help with your kidney health. Red grapes are really high in antioxidants and really good for your heart. That's why people drink red wine, I think. And ginger is really, really good for your stomach. And that's all for me for now. Hope that's helped you with your answers for your assessment 1 of your physical conditioning. See ya!